Monthly checks may be sent out this year, and many lawmakers in the House have just learned about to propose a bill that will restore the improved and expanded monthly child tax credit payments. It would cost billions of dollars and would send Americans relief checks every month. It already has provided bipartisan support, and also a group of House representatives have just introduced the American Families Act, which will actually be a bill that would make the previously expanded and improved monthly child tax credit permanent. And during the crisis, the American Rescue Plan Act provided relief for American families through a series of payments and credits. One of those was a supercharged version of the child tax credit. And beginning in July of 2021, the IRS began distributing nearly $93 billion in advance child tax credit payments to families. Those are paper checks or direct deposits that appeared each month. And the payments were equal to 50% of the child tax credit estimated to be families and available to the families. Based on information reported on their federal income tax return, eligible families who did not receive the advance payments or didn't receive enough can claim the full credit on their 2021 tax return during the tax filing season. Mailing the payments in monthly installments wasn't the only change, and the credit was also bigger and fully refundable to qualifying taxpayers, and it means that you could receive the advanced child tax credit payment even if you did not owe any taxes. It has reached more than 61 million children, and studies suggest that it made a tremendous impact. A 2022 paper from the American Medical Association noted that children in the United States are more likely to live in poverty than any other age group. Before the crisis, over 10 million children in the United States lived in poverty. One of the highest child poverty rates among high-income countries. About half of all children living in poverty are living in what's called extreme poverty, defined as a household with an annual income of $13,000 or less. Now, the move was met with enthusiasm to expand a bill that would help them out. There does appear to be bipartisan support for making changes to the child tax credit, and various proposals have been floated by the GOP senators. But so far, House Republican leaders are hoping to pass a rule to set up floor votes on a bill to constrain the government's ability to regulate gas stoves. But the lawmakers saw their efforts fail after the House Freedom Caucus members joined Democrats in opposing the rule. The final vote of the rule was 206-220. A dozen Republicans opposed the rule. The 12th vote voted against the rule cast by House Majority Leader Stephen Scalise. So folks, I hope that President Biden can do more for the people in sending out stimulus payments.
Passport into the city, appreciate it very much. And I want to thank everyone in Rocky Mountain City Council, Nash County, Edgecombe County, and they're here today because we believe in you, all the students here. We're proud of you, and that's not hyperbole. Great things are ahead of you, and there are a lot of training you're going to be getting. But you know, Jill, my wife, has taught in community college now for some years, and she has her doctorate as a professor there. And she has an expression. She says that, you know, community colleges are the best kept secret in America. And then she goes on to say, and she's right, that any country that out-educates us will out-compete us. Any country that out-educates us will out-compete us. And we're in an incredible competition worldwide, economically, politically, and militarily. And you know, this best-kept secret is not being kept secret much anymore. Just in this community, in the community colleges, in North Carolina, since 2021, private investors have invested $16 billion in community college. Private investors, $16 billion. That doesn't count the billions of dollars we're investing from the federal government and the programs we've had. The point is, these investments were made in good-paying jobs all across North Carolina, not just here. Let's remember where we were just a few years ago. And when I took office, the economy was reeling. We were in tough shape. Unemployment was extremely high. And across the country, the pandemic had hit us very hard. Millions were out of work, and I'm not hyperbole. Millions were out of work. But the problems we were facing started a lot earlier than that. For decades before the last administration, Democrat and Republican, the middle class and working class folks, families I come from, were being hollowed out. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs were moved overseas. Why? Because they're cheaper labor. So we started, instead of sending product overseas, we send people, our jobs overseas. And they'd send product back to us. And factories closing down.
In Colorado, Governor Jared Polis previously signed legislation that is going to provide residents with a tax rebate. The state's Department of Revenue announced in an official statement that the governor signed a new law to give Coloradans a tax rebate of $750 for individual filers and $1,500 for joint filers this summer. This law will provide immediate relief to Coloradans by sending you a check this summer instead of spring 2023. The Colorado Department of Revenue is working hard to make sure that residents get the right tax refund as soon as possible. According to the state's Department of Revenue, for residents who received an extended tax filing deadline of October 17th, the tax rebate check will be received by January 31st, 2023. Other states have also signed similar legislation, including Georgia, Delaware, Idaho, and Indiana. Now, breaking news, everybody. Senate Democrat Joe Manchin is upset at Senate Minority Mitch McConnell for opposing the new changes on President Biden's economic agenda. Top Democrats in the Senate are now revising a new version of the Build Back Better legislation. The lawmakers would like to see a monthly benefit boost included to the bill. Top Democrats in the Senate are now revising a new version of the Build Back Better legislation. The lawmakers would like to see a monthly benefit boost included to the bill. And today, Joe Manchin said on top that he's not dissuaded by warnings from the top Senate Republican leader to sink a bipartisan bill that would only strengthen the U.S. economic competitiveness. Manchin told reporters, "I'm not walking away if I can help the country, and if they want to play politics and play party politics, shame on them." Manchin added it was so wrong of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky to issue warnings to sink the bipartisan legislation, which would only boost the federal investment on emerging technologies like computer chips. The Kentucky Republican reiterated the ultimatum and tied to recent Democratic efforts to pass Biden's economic agenda. And during a speech on the Senate floor, McConnell said, "Party line scheming is going to crowd that out. Our side cannot agree to frantically steamroll through bipartisan talks in order to meet a timeline, so our Democratic colleagues can clear the decks to ram through a party line tax hike." McConnell warned and wanted to sink the bill as Democrats make progress towards clinching a deal with Manchin on a climate and tax economic spending package. But a spokesperson for Chuck Schumer said last week that Democrats plan to convene an all-senators classified briefing for the bipartisan bill. Republicans and Democratic negotiators have spent months negotiating on the bill to shore up the domestic semiconductor industry among other sectors in an effort to reduce the U.S. dependence on imports of important products. Experts say Biden's economic package could include around $1 trillion in new spending. These ideas would require a range of tax increases to fund them. These taxes would mostly hit businesses, owners, and corporations,